Welcome to Plant-Based on Fire, the podcast that ignites your passion for plant-based businesses. Real Men Eat Plants is proud to host this show, where we shine a spotlight on the latest and greatest plant-based companies making waves in the industry. From startups to established brands, we'll explore what sets these businesses apart, what challenges they've faced, and what their vision for a more sustainable and ethical food future looks like. So if you're hungry for some fresh insights, inspiring stories, and a healthy dose of entrepreneurial spirit, then join us on Plant-Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants.
Hello and welcome to Plant-Based on Fire. I'm your host today, Brian, and we are thrilled to have another amazing plant-based business joining us today to discuss the plant-based lifestyle. Today we have Theo, and he is the co-founder of Theo's Plant-Based and innovator of the world of sustainable food. Theo's making waves with his delicious beet jerky, a product that champions zero waste practices and supports regenerative agriculture as well. He's redefining the plant-based food industry one vegetable at a time. So welcome, Theo. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
How did my introduction go? I mean, I'm
That
super
was great.
excited.
I like the one vegetable at a time thing. I think that was new for me.
I've been doing the plant-based life for about 13 years now, and I can say the couple things that I miss are the
Uh-huh.
smokiness and that barbecue-y flavor kind of a thing. That's why I'm
Okay.
just so excited to talk to you today about the jerky, because I've tried some of the mushroom jerkies, but I don't think I've ever tried beet jerky.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to throw shade, but I will say ours is the best.
Well, I just placed my order, so I wish it
Okay.
had arrived here before, so I could show a
I
few.
would have sent you some for free, man.
Oh, well, appreciate that. But anyway, I love to contribute to the plant-based businesses. That's why we're doing this podcast to help promote
Yes.
you and others. So I ordered some. It should be on its way, and I will let you know how it stacks up against some of the mushroom ones I've tried.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. I always tell people unfiltered thoughts only. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, how are you going to get better if I
right,
shape it? So yeah,
right,
definitely will hit you with that.
right.
So tell us, how did this idea come about with beet jerky and your journey into this plant-based lifestyle?
Yeah, I started cooking as a teenager. Kind of classic story of you start as a dishwasher, work your way up.
Hmm.
I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Uh, Once I really started cooking, I got completely addicted to it, just the adrenaline and insanity of it all. Um, I went to the University of Michigan. I thought I was going to be a clinical therapist, but during that whole time there, I was cooking professionally, working on farms. When I graduated, my grandmother was very disappointed because I went to go work in a restaurant once I got my degree. Uh, I moved out to New York and was cooking at a restaurant called Blue Hill Stone Barns, which at the time, and I still think, is considered like the best farm to table fine dining restaurant in the world.
Very cool.
So, I worked there for about a year, and what's so cool about working there for a year is you see the whole seasonal, um, availability of all the different varieties of produce that come up,
Yeah.
on like a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and the menu's constantly changing based on what's most abundant and delicious. The restaurant's on a farm. Anyway, so I had all this experience from before. I worked on farms. I was cooking, I actually cooked at a vegan restaurant for a while in college. And all of that was really solidified in this very accelerated, intensive learning environment where I really got to get my hands on like every piece of produce you can imagine.
Hmm.
And it really just changed my way of like my perspective on what people should be eating and how like there's a real intersection of flavor, nutrition, and environmental friendliness that like is not being appreciated or tapped into in the CBG marketplace. And to be completely transparent with you, I thought the plant-based food section was kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
I thought and still do think all that really hyper processed stuff is just pretty misleading and not what people should be eating. And like the best vegan food has always been here, and it's organic produce, and that's
Yeah.
where the whole movement started. And like, it used to be this cool thing that was about like eating whole foods and preparing your own food, and there was a some emphasis on natural and organic. And like, here I am now with this cool knowledge and training, and it's like, how can I directly support organic regenerative farming from a really good quality input? Can we how few steps can we take to turn it into something else that can emulate qualities of a jerky, for example? It's
Yeah.
chewy, savory, it's smoky, but we're not trying to be it one to one, like taste, smell, texture, nutrition. It's like it is what it is. Let's just keep, don't fuck up a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what beet jerky is, and that's what got me into it. So I actually moved from New York to Chicago for another Michelin star chef job, and then a couple weeks later, COVID hit,
Yeah.
and
Ugh. Find
I
yourself experimenting, I'm
yeah,
sure.
exactly. And I think like you listen to a lot of podcasts of food founders. It's like it starts with sharing with your friends, and then you get
Yeah.
into one store, and we were selling at farmers markets, and people loved it, and um, you know. I got to a point where I was like, this is awesome. I was working 18 hours a day at this stupid little windowless commercial kitchen just to go sell at the farmer's market. It made no sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it was the evidence we needed to really scale it up. And my friend Aaron Broadkey at the time, who was working in venture capital, who I'd known forever, he's been a food guy forever. He was the one that really was recommending to me to kind of, take a step back and figure out how to scale it. And I also convinced him to quit his comfortable VC job to make no money being a founder. So
Yeah.
him and I have been working together formally for about a year and a half, and it's been great. We've made a ton of progress. We're in Whole Foods Market. We're working on another really big retail chain, natural chain deal right now. And yeah, it's the chaos is something I kind of need. I need
Yeah.
that kind of intensity to perform, and similar to the kitchen. I mean, it's a little better now because I'm not like in a stainless steel room for 20 hours a day. At least I can take a breath of fresh air. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean, I love it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? I mean, I strongly propose that whole food plant-based diet, right? Let's get back to the core basics of it as much
right,
as we possibly can.
right,
Nature's packaging the apples and the bananas in the perfect form that we can take them from the grocery store without a
yeah,
bag or anything else.
right.
But I have to say, Americans are just lazy, right? And they want
And we
that
don't know how to. We
flavor.
don't have a food culture here. We really don't.
Yeah,
People don't know how to
yeah.
cook. These big companies, they're genius at selling convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not against having treats here and there, I'm a
Yeah,
glutton myself, but
yeah,
like I just think it's problematic, especially when you're taking large populations of uneducated consumers that, are kind of blind to what they see. And there's a lot of stuff out there that's not too good for people. And sure, if you look at the metric of comparing it to factory farm beef in isolation, it's better, but like, come on, that's a pretty low bar.
yeah.
You know? So like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's not much integrity in the space.
Yeah. Well, what talk to us about the regenerative farming side of this? So, I mean,
Yeah,
I guess I still am curious, like, how did you experiment out of all the 10,000 plus vegetables out there? How did you narrow it down to beets for the jerky side of it? And
right.
then, like, talk to us about the farming aspects there.
Yeah. Well, I think beets are really underused.
For
They're
sure.
delicious. They're one of the healthiest foods on earth.
Mm-hmm.
They have a really polarizing reputation out there.
Yes, they
Uh,
do.
Interestingly,
But so
there's
do mushrooms, honestly, right?
yeah,
I mean, people
right,
love or
yeah.
hate mushrooms, so
I mean, at one point nobody was eating kale, and now everybody's got it in their fucking drinks and their
yeah,
salads and
yeah.
their chips and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, um, I think beets are delicious. I'm aware of their nutritional value. There's also some great benefits to using them on a manufacturing side, which is that they're really durable and you get good yields when you use them. They're thick and very fibrous.
Mm-hmm.
And, the way that we treat these vegetables, we're kind of highlighting the natural fibers in the food in the beet to create that chewy meat-like thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in terms of the agricultural side, my background runs deep with the organic regenerative. I worked on an organic biodynamic farm, small vegetable operation, uh, and that really kind of shaped like not only from the standpoint of like how much better the stuff tastes, just kind of
Oh my
seeing,
goodness. Yeah.
with regenerative organic farming, most of it comes down to like how can the natural ecology of the land around the farm and, mainly looking at soil health and, the biodiversity in the soil, how can that be
Yeah.
like maintained and promoted and grown through like no-till or low-till and cover crop and rotating crops and things like that. So, I mean, when I started this, when I was buying beets from a local farm here, and like as we scale, that's something I'm never going to like compromise. So
Hmm.
I'm working with a bunch of really good organic farms that are doing the organic regenerative thing. Now, organic regenerative is not regulated.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not like the organic certification where there's all these really stringent guidelines and you can't even say the word. Right now, it's kind of like grass fed, for example, where it's like, I mean, grass fed's gotten a little more regulated, but you know, a lot of companies are claiming to be regenerative or that word, kind of like the word sustainable, which
Yeah.
should be, should have some legal consequences for using improperly, but doesn't. Um,
Are you going to the farms and holding them accountable and checking it kind of thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I I have a ton of connections from, this restaurant I was working at. They're like considered one of the leaders in regenerative organic farming in the world. Stone Barn
Hmm.
Center for Agriculture.
Yeah.
Look them up. They're pretty cool. So
Very
I
cool.
kind of had an in to a bunch of folks there, and then still some of the farms around here, like Prairie Earth in Southern Illinois, is a really cool farm that I've been buying beets from since the beginning of this, and we're not getting involved with anything that we're not really aware of. I don't want to blindly just
Yeah.
buy something because, the organic certification in itself has become, companies have lobbied and found ways around, what it was intended to be, which is like no spray, and there's now like organic fertilizers that
Yeah.
bunch of so
The
anyway.
world will find the loopholes,
Yeah, right.
unfortunately.
That's the
Yeah.
problem with the free market capitalist thing, I
Hmm.
guess. But
What
it's
is
my
the,
opinion, if you're gonna add something to this marketplace that like, I mean, if you go to a Whole Foods, there's like 40,000 different products on the shelf. Like, if you're gonna add something that to a market that like it's not really needed, like it better have some integrity, because like,
mhm.
come on, like, come
Yeah.
on, you know?
Well, I guess that's interesting. I mentor quite a few businesses locally here in Charlotte where I'm at, and it is that challenge. Like, how did you overcome some of the challenges? Like, just to get into Whole Foods, just to get the nutritional label on the packaging. I mean, the hurdle is high and the difficulty level is high to bring a product to market like you have. I have to say, congratulations.
Thanks. I'm pretty obsessive, and I bring the same intensity of that line cook to my work now.
That's
So
awesome.
I think that gets me places. It can come at a bit of an emotional cost sometimes, but Aaron's got that drive too, and he's has equal credit in this really coming to life in a organized, sophisticated way. But I mean, the organic thing alone is a huge barrier, not only on the cost side, which screws
Hmm.
margins, but also like if you're producing a certified organic product, the facility you're working with has to be certified organic. There's it's the minority of processing facilities out there.
Hmm.
Not much incentive because it costs the facilities money to run one.
Yeah.
But when we started, we raised some money to bring this to scale with no supply chain, no manufacturing, and no sales lined up. And I don't know. When the stakes are there, you can make it happen. But I mean, I cold called over 500 manufacturers and heard no from 499 of them. Um, and one of them,
I was
like,
just talking with somebody else. It's that consistency and that passion to follow through. Like you have to be able to accept the no and try again tomorrow, you
yeah.
know?
I mean,
So,
anybody else out there that's an entrepreneur, like if you don't already know this, it's like don't take no personally because it's literally just part of your job. Like
Yeah.
I just applied for Lollapalooza and they told us no today, and I was like,
Right.
fuck. But then it's like, you know what? You just roll with the punches and you keep going.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
um,
So how do you sort of, I guess, what advice would you give for other plant-based businesses trying to get going and entering into the industry?
mm, I think like true innovation comes from a place of, your own experiences, not just looking at trend reports. So, anybody out there developing products or has an idea that maybe doesn't seem like where like the market is, well, go for it because weird shit often wins.
Yeah.
Uh, 2 years ago, everyone was like, if your product's not like fucking Impossible Burger, then like you're fucked. And now like
Yeah.
their sales are way down. So, tons of people told me not to do this, and like I did anyway.
Here you
So,
are.
hey, just jump
I
in.
apologize. There's somebody at my door who will not stop ringing it.
Oh, you're
So
good.
give me 2 seconds here.
Okay.
All right, if you've ever wanted to show off your plant-based lifestyle and do it in style, here's your chance. We have some of the most amazing t-shirts, hats, accessories, coffee mugs, and more at shop.realmeneatplants.com. We have statement t-shirts that will bring a smile to everyone's face. I love the I Want Tofu Tonight tee. Plus, we have podcast tees, Real Women Eat Plants gear, Real Kids Eat Plants, and Real People Eat Plants, just in case men, women, and kids didn't cover it all. Yeah, we love you and love that you want to show off that healthy lifestyle of yours. Again, check out our high-quality gear at shop.realmeneatplants.com and enjoy.
So,
Um,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't. I mean, I've built a couple businesses myself, and it's exactly that. And it's just I try to mentor quite a few businesses, and I can tell which ones have the passion to really push this through, or not on that front.
right.
So
Yeah.
what's next? What's next for Theos? I mean, you're pushing forward on the beet side of it. You've got several different flavors and lines, but is there
Yeah.
more to come? Are you happy with where it's at, or what's on the future here?
I mean, well, am I happy with where it's at? I wish, but when you're on the inside, you only see the things that could be better. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and I want to share this with the whole country. I want it to be nationally distributed in multiple retail chains and, be the first beet jerky in every grocery store.
yeah,
Um, and prove to people that, deliciousness and like real sustainability is a thing. Um, with a big nutritional component as well, obviously.
yeah.
I think what's next? We have a pipeline of about 16 SKUs of products that all fall under this thesis of vegetable forward, simple, regenerative, organic, that go
Mm-hmm.
into multiple sections of the grocery store. We're going to be doing a line extension of beet jerky flavors, releasing another vegetable jerky with a whole new another
Very cool.
agricultural product. But, we have vegetable replacements for seafood and refrigerated meat, things like that. I mean, the easiest part of this whole venture has been developing the products.
Yeah,
like I used to cook, under like insane standards for hundreds of people a day. It's like making one thing is not that hard.
yeah,
Scaling it and sharing it with everyone safely and efficiently with good margins is really fucking hard. But like,
yeah,
yeah, we're excited to share more. But for now, we're really trying to establish ourselves, not grow too quickly. A lot of people crash and burn with jumping on every opportunity they get.
mm-hmm.
And like, we're trying to like really establish strong relationships with strategic partners now and grow those. We've said no to at surface level very nice cash grab opportunities because we
Yeah,
want to be very careful and not spread ourselves too thin. And Aaron, especially my business partner, gets the main credit for that because he's really fucking smart in a lot of ways. I'm not.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's where it's
yeah,
so important to have that co-founder, I think, and really once you've gotten over that initial hurdle, I think it's so important to figure out where do I want to take the company? Like, what does it want to be? Like, you can cash out if you want, or you can grow it and do it like you said, and try and get in every store. So,
Yeah, well,
um,
my dream someday is to open a food and nonprofit, a farm and food center that would give healthy food access and education to people that don't really have that available. I mean, even Chicago alone is like one of the biggest food deserts in the country.
yeah,
We're like half the population here, and it's like it's not only access, it's like knowing what to do with raw, you know, inputs and how to cook. And, a lot of people don't have time that are working really hard. And I
just
think it'd be
picking
really, yeah,
just picking up a can of beans and knowing that's got too much sodium in it, right?
right.
It's
So
just, yeah.
I think it would be really cool someday to pivot to, if I can have the, the financial freedom to do so, to do something a lot more community oriented, and really try to kind of get my hands dirty again, and support people and give them dignity through food. So
Well,
that's
yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with your website. It's a beautiful looking website. It was super easy to order. I'm so excited to taste it and see what that flavor hits my tongue. So I'll definitely get you some feedback for sure. I
please.
checked your map and I do see obviously you're all over the Chicago area, but I'm in Charlotte, so I'm hoping some people are listening to this and are going to help spring you up in the 15th biggest city in America here.
Yes.
And
Let's go
how do
Charlotte.
people find you, and where can we tag you and learn more about your
Yeah.
awesome products?
So you can, of course, go to theosplantbased.com and order there. Also, from Amazon.com, if you type in Theo's plant-based beet jerky, you could get some bags there. We are on social media at Theo's Plant-Based. You can see me doing a bunch of dumb shit online. Um, and we are in every Whole Foods in the Midwest. You can find us in the functional snacks section, which is near the kale chips and the dried fruit and the other healthy snack options. So every package has one big ass upcycled beet in it. It's got a compostable package. The beets are dried at a low temperature, which keeps all the nutrition from the raw beet to the final product. So I think you'll like it. And if you don't, hit me up and I'll give you your money back.
I love it. I look forward to trying it. Thank you so much, Thea, for spending a few minutes with us. How else can the community that we have at Plant Based on Fire support you? Buy
I
more
think
beets.
buy more beets. I think I think I always tell people, like, don't put your money towards buying my stuff if you really care about, the environment and the food industry. Go to your local farmers market, find your organic farmers and give them the money. I don't need it.
Yeah.
So that's what you should do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of people in transition that need those bridges, and I think
Yeah.
you're supplying some great products that can help people make that jump into exactly that kind of lifestyle. So, again, thank you so much, Thea, for jumping in with us for a few minutes. That's all the time we have for this episode of Plant Based on Fire. So, thank you so much again for sharing your insights with us, Theo.
Of
And
course.
until next time, keep the fire burning.
Keep the fire burning. Thank you, guys.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Plant Based on Fire. We hope you enjoyed learning about the innovative plant-based businesses we featured today and got inspired to support them on their journey. Remember, plant-based eating isn't just a trend. It's a way of life that benefits your health, the environment, and animals. By choosing plant-based foods, you're making a positive impact on the world and helping to create a better and more compassionate future. If you want to join the Real Men Eat Plants community and get even more resources to help you go and stay plant-based, check out our blog, podcasts, and 30-day challenge at realmeneatplants.com. Thank you for tuning in to Plant Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants. Head over to Apple Podcast and give us a review, and let us know what you think of this episode. Don't forget to tag us at Plant Based on Fire when you share this episode in your preferred social media. Wish to be a guest? We need to know about your plant-based business. email us at pbof@realmeneatplants.com. We love hearing from our listeners. Thank you to our guests and to you, our listeners, for your support, and see you next time.